Welcome back to my channel. I'm Dave, or Geezer Geek. This short video is part 2 of 3 of my project with the Dell Latittude D520. And at the close of the previous video, I had loaded Zorin onto the laptop, and while my hardware met the recommended specs, thus was a theoretical possibility to use Zorin. Zorin recommends a 1 GHz dual-core 64-bit CPU. Mine exceeds that. Recommends 2 GB of RAM. I have exactly that. I have well over the recommended drive space of 15 gigs, and certainly capable of more than an 800 by 600 display. This D520 without upgrades had, as I said, 2 GB of RAM, 2 GHz dual-core processor, and the drive is a nominal 128 GB SSD. 100 GB or more available. And the monitor is in excess of the recommended resolution. It has 3 times the real estate. It's capable of 1400 by 1050. Using the live environment, it took just over 3 minutes from the first splash screen to the desktop. Once installed, that dropped to about 15 seconds. But even so, I felt the system was sluggish. I'd hate to think what the experience would be with a 1 GHz processor. Maybe Zorin with XFCE would have been better. I may go back and try again, but I first decided to try another distro. In my experience on this low-spec device, MX is a much snappier distro than Zorin with GNOME. Now, Zorin says the light version will be XFCE, and as you saw with the CD that I showed you, or DVD I showed you, I thought I was getting light. But that's another question which will need to be explored. The first question is whether it is reasonable to be responsible and make the effort to keep an older laptop computer out of the huge e-waste problem. Regardless of where I finally land, MX, Zorin, Linux Lite, or something else, I decided it would be worth it to get the parts that I need. I determined that this machine can run a modern supported operating system and get quite satisfactory results. Very easily during light workloads like word processing or simple spreadsheets or even presentations, and even more demanding workloads like web surfing or viewing videos. I was able to view YouTube videos at about 720p, and that's okay for me. So I did choose to order parts, a memory upgrade kit, and a battery. And as I said, while waiting, I loaded another Linux flavor, MX. And I played with it a bit while waiting. I placed my order with a company that I had done business with previously, and with whom I had been quite satisfied, both regarding the product and their service. A shout out to Kahlon, K-A-H-L-O-N. But in full disclosure, they're not paying me. Indeed, I've paid them what I consider to be a reasonable price for a 4 GB kit and for a battery for this laptop. And after waiting for a bit, I decided to check with them and find out why I hadn't yet received my order. Turns out it had been in their shipping department for a week. They promptly replied by email that it would be sent out next day, 2-day air, and true to their word, I have it in hand. Again, kudos to Kahlon for handling. So after we open and see what is in the package, we'll shift to my shop camera and we'll do the installation of the parts, and I'll show you how to get and install MX, and shift to Simple Screen Recorder to take you on a short tour. To review, these are the existing specs of this computer, and compared to the recommended specs for each of several flavors of Linux. As I said, Our CPU is a 2 gigahertz dual core, which easily meets the requirements for any of these systems. It has 2 gigabytes of memory, which easily meets the recommended specs for any of these systems. I have plenty of drive space and plenty of display. So it seems any of these should work. I may give Zorin a try again after my upgrade, but after the initial experience, I do think it is sluggish. If I can get Zorin with XFCE, that'll be a different story. I'll give it a try. Now the shop task is going to be another segment, and this is my list. I will replace the 2 gigabytes that's currently in it with a 4 gigabyte match set. That'll max out the memory for this machine. At the same time, I'll change the CMOS coin cell battery, and then I'll attempt to remove the CPU heatsink and apply new thermal paste for it. The 15-year-old CPU probably has paste now well beyond its true useful life, and the computer will be able to run better with a refresh. I'll install and charge the new battery, and then I'll take you on an OS tour using Simple Screen Recorder. So let's see what they sent me. We'll just open this zipper and see what's in the package. As I said, I've done business with Kalon before, so I expect this to be a good experience again. And a bubble wrap envelope inside that envelope, and this is going to be a little bit more. There we go. And inside that, another bubble wrap envelope. Very well packaged. Again, kudos to the team at Kalon. And this one opens easier. Now we get to the goodies, I think. Yep. So the first bit is a battery inside an anti-static bag. Didn't quite expect that, but that's good. And then memory inside its own bag. Let's see what they sent me. And there's my order. And 2 memory chips. They have the Kalon marking on them. It says removal will void the warranty. But I know Kalon doesn't make the memory. I suspect they just put their label on someone else's. So let's see what it is. No label on the back side. Let's see if we can read the chips. I found on the printed circuit board a little label that says Samsung. So it looks like they've sent me Samsung memory with their warranty. And there it is. It's Samsung, all right. Let's see if we can show it to you. The label is right down there that we're able to read. So, 2 sticks of memory and a new battery. So as I said, the next bit of video will take you to the shop, and I'll show you the process, and take you on a tour. And I will offer some thoughts as to what this system will be most useful for and what I would not recommend it for. And so look for me again in part 3. Thank you for watching the video. Comments, questions, likes, and subscribes are all welcome. Until next time, stay safe, stay curious, and stay environmentally conscious. In my experience on this low-spec in my experience on this low-spec